There are so many things as humans that we don't really understand. There are mystic, magical, fated things, as well as otherworldly realms that we just can't comprehend unless it's through the journey of our own soul. I'm your host, Steffi, aka the Spirit Sis. I'm a psychic medium, astrologer, and intuition teacher, and I'm here to take you on an exploration of all things spiritual. I'm going to connect to Source, give you divine downloads, and I want to keep you in the spirit loop. So here is the Psychic Scoop.
Hello, and welcome back to your favorite segment, the Spiritual Sleepover, with your hosts, Dana, Shayna, and Steffi, aka Spirit Sis. This is our segment where we just hang out and have a spiritual sleepover. We talk about current events. We talk about the transits, whether that's astrological or human design transits. We play some games. So if this is your first spiritual sleepover, welcome. Bring a cup of cacao, coffee, wine, spritzer, like whatever the fuck you want. It's that kind of vibe. And go back and listen to the other ones because they are so fun. We play games. And honestly, this is something that I look forward to every single month because it's just so fun. And we have like real life spiritual sleepovers. Literally last month, we had, I think, two nights where we just hung out and we were like, this should be recorded because everything that we talked about till like 1 a.m. was legit just our souls, our life, our what we're experiencing right now. And I think that when people share like that on a podcast, it's the most helpful because you feel less alone. It's like, oh shit, okay, not everything has to be serious, first of all. Second of all, like we're all kind of navigating the same thing. Like when you find a podcast that really resonates with you or a program or a person, it's like you're on the same frequency and wavelength. So everyone listening here, we feel so connected with you all. And we're just grateful to be jamming cozy little bitches in this space, which is honestly, I guess, our brand. But here we are.
What an intro. I want to give you a little applaud.
Round of applause.
Thank you
I
so
agree
much.
to all the sentiments.
Yes. And I'm loving just like seeing your faces here. For all of you that are not watching the video right now, Steffi has Herbert in the background with his Santa hat on. He is looking festive AF and it brings me so much joy. It's like that he is like our hype man of all time in every conversation, like the expression on his face, just giving me life.
Herbert is my ESS, my emotional support skeleton. For those of you that don't know, he stays up year round. It was a little bit of a problem at first with my fiance, but he's grown to love him like he's a part of the family. And you both have a great relationship with Herbert now. You've seen him in different areas of the house. I do like to move him into the office when I'm doing readings, and some people are really scared and some people are delighted. So I like to
scared.
Yeah,
wow, Herbert has such a non-scary energy.
I know,
and
he has
like
his
honestly,
face, his expression is so positive, like positive vibes.
He has BDE.
I know,
like straight up.
Shayna's turned on by him.
Yeah, like he's got some BDE. Like when you see Herbert, it's like, damn, you know, when he was alive, he fucked.
He kind of maybe because you can see his exposed pelvis. Like he does have a very strong bone structure.
Yeah, like he's loud and proud. Like BDE honestly has nothing to do with sex. I feel like it's just a vibe of confidence.
It's energy
and like,
it's literally called BDE, big dick energy. It's only purely about the energetics. Like for me, like a squirrel could have BDE.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like it doesn't
have BDE.
Yeah. Well, I've met some squirrels that are like, you know, trying too hard and you're like not BD on that squirrel. But yeah, for sure. It's the energy.
Yeah. I was in Napa on a girls trip with my in-laws and we were trying to guess the different kinds of wines because the sommelier, I guess that's the right word. He was like, what's the opposite of a petite Syrah? And I was like, BDE Syrah? Like, what is the opposite of petite? So a squirrel that does not have BDE has petite energy, or like SMDE, small, just SDE, small
squirrel energy.
Small squirrel energy.
Well, I'm kind of distracted. I'm distracted thinking about Herbert's human life. I have never thought about what his human life would have been like before he was a skeleton. Like that is revolutionary to me. Steffi, do you have any leads on it?
It's funny because I've thought about that like recently as well. And I just feel like he was just a jolly man who like had a couple kids, was just like a happy go lucky. Yeah. And they're probably, in another lifetime. I don't know.
Like likes gardening, likes playing board games, like feeds the squirrels that have BDE in his yard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I gave him a birth chart too. He was definitely Scorpio rising, and he was an Aquarius sun, which I really, yep. And then I think he was a Pisces moon. But I have to relook at what I wrote. I literally channeled it. Anyway, enough about the inanimate objects that I hold dear
I feel
to my
like
heart.
he's animate at this point.
Let's talk like quickly about what's going on in the stars. It's funny, before we popped on the call, I was saying, yeah, there's not a whole lot of astrology shit going on right now, but all of us are like, but why do we feel like in disarray, like a dumpster fire? And I've been getting that a lot from a lot of people. Like, what's happening? I'm feeling disconnected to self. I'm feeling no motivation. I've gotten that a ton. Confusion, lack of clarity for the future, things like that. So when you're listening to this now, surprise, surprise, we're in shadow for Mercury retrograde. And Mercury will retrograde in Capricorn December 13th. And also, the funky energy could maybe be related to Pluto being in these last degrees of Capricorn. That's been happening for a minute. And we're out of the woods there, January 22nd of 2024. So when Pluto is in those last degrees, that's what's happening in the world. We feel that heavy feeling of subconscious capitalism, heavier themes that Pluto, and we've been in and out of that for a couple of years, but it's been super, super tuned in recently. So I'm thinking maybe that's what's going on, at least like socially, economically, things like that. But as far as that's concerned, Jupiter has been retrograde for a minute. It'll go direct end of December, but for the rest, it's our normal full and new moons, and we're just kind of like gripping and surviving through the end of that Pluto transit.
And that ends end of January 22nd.
Yep, 2024 it ends, and then Pluto will retrograde again for the last time into Capricorn fall of 2024, and then it will be on its way forever by out of Capricorn.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot wait. But also, we got one more retrograde there in us. So time to just be fall. Where we are. Yeah. In the fall.
Yeah. I'm feeling that energy. That's so interesting. I love looking ahead at the transits. It just feels so, well, maybe it's just my undefined mind and undefined root, but it feels really grounding of like, oh, okay, I've got this. I'm held. I love listening to your podcast where you go over the different transits and energies for the different signs too. So if you haven't listened to that, head over to Steffi's podcast, The Spirit Scoop and
Psychic Scoop.
Oh my God. You do that every time. I do. Spirit Scoop, because you're just the Spirit Scoop too. You're the Psychic Scoop, the Soul Scoop, Transit Scoop. You just scoop it up. But head over there and listen to those, because I listen to them with Brian, every single one that drops out, and it's just so helpful. I'm obsessed. So thank you for sharing that. And as far as human design goes, this week and the next few weeks are all about being present and listening to your body. So we're going through some sacral energies with the sun, and the tendency over the next 2 weeks, especially, is to overgive and to put others before yourself and to be disconnected. If you're in the lowest expression, be disconnected from what you actually want, but to just kind of be running around doing what you feel needs to be done or what other people need you to do or what should be done, but not actually connecting into like your body, what actually feels supportive and good for you first. So the biggest reminder over the next few weeks is asking, what do I need first? Being enlightenedly selfish, if you will, and asking that question, because then it's going to set you up to then be able to give to others, because that feels really good in this time. Giving to others, creating space with others, connecting with others. It feels good, but there's a really fine line between this feels good to help people and I feel like I should help people, or this feels good to help people, or I'm just scratching an itch to kind of feel satisfied that I'm being helpful. So really asking, am I helping because it's feels good to me, or am I doing it because I should? And to that same vein, I would say, if you're feeling like being really detailed come December and wanting to get into those details and create things or work towards things that help people in a detailed way, doing it once again from this groundedness versus like future tripping. What are people going to need? What should I be doing? What are the details that people are asking of me? Coming back to yourself and checking in with like, what does my body need in this moment? If you can do that every single day, like once a day, you're going to be operating in alignment. You're going to be creating more alignment for everyone else around you when you do help and connect with them. But if you can just come back, what does my body need in this moment? That might be a little bit of quiet time outside. That might be calling a friend and venting. That might be journaling or going for a walk, eating something really delicious versus just eating what's in your fridge. Food can be a really big hack in this time. Like saying, okay, 3 times this week, I'm going to eat something that's so fucking delicious that it just lights up my soul. If you could do that 3 times each week for the next month, great. It can just be a small way that you can really support yourself first before you then go and give and create and share with others.
Yeah, I love that so much because it's like the holiday season is really dubbed as like the season of giving. And it is. It is the season of giving. It is the season of giving our energy to other people, but not in a way that goes against our own energy, not in a way that depletes us and drains us. It should be the season of giving in a way that's sustainable, that's coming from authenticity and joy and not just an expectation to be sacrificing yourself and, you know, dumping out your cup. And especially if you're a mom or a parent and you're listening, like take that double, like make sure you are taking care of yourself and not over giving, because that type of giving when it's misaligned is not sustainable and it's not really powerful in the end. What's way more powerful is giving from a full cup yourself. I love it. So as we move into this spiritual sleepover, the next thing we want to do is share with each other what's been on our minds and kind of bring something to the table for us to riff about. And does anyone feel called to go first? Steffi, I feel it coming from you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm about to give like a presentation. I just got called on by the
didn't
teacher.
Prepare.
I did come prepared. So the thing I want to talk about today, there is a documentary called Escaping Twin Flames. Have you heard about it, seen it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I watched
I haven't seen it.
You did. Okay, cool. So we can just touch on it briefly. And you both know my stance on twin flames, and I've talked about it on the pod before, my podcast. I think it is blown out completely. I think people use it as a tactic for scamming people. I think twin flames are actually extremely rare, and it's not necessarily what you think it is. Like your toxic ex is your twin flame. You have to be with them forever. I actually think it's a soul that separates into 2 bodies. But okay, so this documentary is about these 2 people that grew up, of course, like 15 minutes from where I grew up in Michigan.
Wait, what?
Yes, Detroit.
No way. I didn't realize that.
I'm like, of course, they're from basically my hometown.
Wow.
And they run essentially a cult that convinces people that they need to connect with their twin flame, but only they can channel who the twin flame is, and they have to also be in the program.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
I did not see this.
it's twisted and it's dark, and it gets, I don't want to get too deep into it, but Dana, what were your first impressions of watching it?
Yeah, so I actually watched a different documentary on the same thing on some other channel that was not as good of a documentary, like not as well done. And then the Netflix came out that's more new. And I feel like it's better, like it goes deeper into the story. But I mean, I'm really fascinated in cults in general, because I just am interested in the psychology, like especially something that's starting with a spiritual essence that is not necessarily harmful, like it's drawing people in for a reason. And then where does the line cross? Like, I think that's really interesting. And for me, it's always when a leader is telling other people what to do, period. Like a leader is here to teach other people, to empower other people, to share ideas, but you're never here to be anyone else's own authority. And this guy that is like leading this thing, he is so just like rude and authoritative, and he like really rips people, like publicly humiliates them in front of
Mhm.
other people. Like he's just crazy. And then the girl, she brings a lot more of the like spiritual grounding. Like she's the one that knew more about like spiritual rituals and things like that. But I mean, it's just like really sad to see the way that they've been able to like use people and get people to
Isolate
spend
them
so much
too.
money. Yeah. And get them a part of this like world where, yeah, they are isolated from their family. And that's one of the things that they promote as a form of control, is to say like your family is trying to control you. So you should stop talking to your family and to sever all ties there. And then their only family members or their only support system are other people that are within that organization. But yeah, it's pretty crazy to watch. And it's like such a sad story. I'm really grateful that it's finally coming to light because it's recent. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the
they're still
people,
in. Yeah,
it's still happening. Yeah, so
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, I just like people were DMing me like, you gotta watch this because I've been very vocal about my twin flame. I talk about it
Yeah.
all the time, and I'm really angry about it because I'm like, I just don't like that psychics get a bad rep for like just being a psychic, right? But then there's
Yeah.
psychics out there that are like, okay, no, if you come to me, I can connect you to your twin flame for 10 grand. And that actually is a
Yeah.
common scam. I'll
That's so
Wow.
twin
crazy.
flame again and you guys will be in love forever. But yeah, this guy and this girl, I think it was like Jeff and Sheila, of course. They were going into PTSD groups and promoting people from there, like to be a part of the twin flame universe is what it's called, TFU. And it's just wild. I mean, like, definitely watch it if you're interested, but it is really messed up. Also, Dana, you said you're really interested in cults. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at your birth chart and you have a lot of planets in the 11th house or the 8th house, or you're an
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius or a Scorpio rising, you actually do have a little affinity of breaking up cults or like finding the truth.
Oh,
Yes, in like
yeah.
community-based mystery type things. So that's funny. You're an
Yeah.
Aquarius rising. So that's probably why
I'm
you feel.
super interested in it. Like also the Nexium, all of the stories like
Yeah.
connected to that. It was just fascinating to me, especially with Nexium, because it's not, I could see where people were really drawn in. Like for a lot of people, they were doing these like mindfulness techniques and meditation techniques and being mindful of their self-talk and releasing limiting beliefs. Like there was good things that people were doing. And then it's interesting to me, where does it cross the line where like things are starting to be like power is being abused and like what does that look like? And I'm such a like power to the people person. I
Mhm.
hate people who are authoritative or who are dismissive to others or who belittle others. Like it boils my blood to see
Yeah.
someone project their own insecurities onto another person and like publicly humiliate them. So it's really interesting for me to take that all in and to observe it and so that I can like promote and empower the opposite. And yeah, it's interesting in the age of information being able to share a documentary like this. It's crazy how fast change can happen when people are able to spread the word or spread the message. And I do think it's really empowering because it is like a power for the people. Like any person can access that documentary and have that sort of awakening. And even what you're saying, Steffi, of promoting awareness, like now that we have this online space where you can connect with people and buy services online, you do have to be really informed and use your discernment to make sure that you're putting your money or trust or, whatever it is into people that are, you're the only authority because there's not very many systems protecting people.
Yeah. And it's honestly the line between something being empowering and being controlling is really blurry. It
Yeah.
slides into being controlling really easily. And even things within human design are like people teaching human design. There's a lot of people that will say, you can't do this as a projector or as a manifester or as a generator. Like you can't date a person that has this design. You're going about it the wrong way if you're this and this and this. Like that, there's a lot of people out there that teach human design, even old school human design, that is really controlling and authoritative. And if it's not exactly what Ross said to in this lecture, then it's wrong and you're wrong. And you have to do what I say kind of energy. And it's literally the opposite of what human design is for. Human design is teaching you how to be your own authority, how to make your own decisions. So if your authority is saying this person's right for you, they're right for you. It's aligned. If your authority is saying to build this business, you don't have to wait for the invitation to build your business. It's aligned for you. So anything that's teaching you how to be your own authority, it feels empowering. It feels expansive. It's expanding like your limits. All of that is amazing. But then the second it's like, no, you're wrong. This is your trauma. I'm telling you what your trauma is. Like we saw in the Teal Swan documentary, which is like a scary topic to talk about. Because there's so much that she teaches that is like really good and helpful in helping the masses. And she's reaching an audience that a lot of people are scared to reach out to and to tackle topics that are scary. And she's definitely here to expand those boundaries and those limits and talk about those taboo things. But then there becomes a line where it's like, you're telling me that I'm wrong about my trauma or about my, what's healthy and safe for me. And you're now becoming my authority and I can't heal unless you are directly involved. And I think that's where it slips with NXIVM. That's where it slips with a lot of places of like, you literally can't find healing unless I am your guru and I come in and heal you because you're incapable of healing yourself without me. And that is control. That is power. That is ego. And it's like literally to heal, you don't need anyone but yourself. You don't need any guru. Everything that you need is within yourself. Always, always, always. It's just, are you looking? Are you aware? Are you learning? Are you exploring? Are you asking questions? Are you feeling? Are you deepening and diving into yourself? And that might lead you to certain books or certain modalities to learn more, but then it always comes back to self of like, okay, learn, let's say human design, for example. Now let me come back to myself. Let me experiment with it. Let me see how it feels in my body. How is this helping me? How is it not? And then you decide, is this healing for you? Is it not? That's the truth with any modality. And it's so fascinating to see these cults and things, especially with twin flames, because every time I hear somebody say like, oh, they're my twin flame, I think to myself, like, you're giving your power away. You're giving your power away, first of all, to just putting a label on a relationship or a person to then say, this person's going to save the day for me, or I'm nothing without this person. Or you're putting a label on to make it feel more special and validate some of the toxic behaviors.
Yes.
Or you're putting a label on to make the things that feel like crazy or feel like intense validated without looking any deeper. And I hear it so much of like, oh, they're my twin flame. They're my twin flame. And I always hear your voice in my head, Steffi, of like, that's super rare. It's two souls split into one. And it becomes this like band-aid statement for complacency and to give your power away to that other person or to that scenario, or in this case, to somebody, some guru telling you who your twin flame is and that you are not enough without another person, that you are not going to be happy or fulfilled. You need something outside of yourself, someone outside of yourself to be happy and fulfilled in your life. And that absolutely is not the truth. Like you have everything you need by yourself alone. If you're the only person on this whole fucking planet, like you have everything you need to be happy and fulfilled internally.
Yeah.
And
just pure manipulation, really. And that's like the final thing I'll say about it. And one of the things that I found fascinating when I started watching this twin flame documentary was they do the mirror exercise, which is actually really common in spiritual practices when you look into the mirror. And it's really based in a foundation of self-love. You're looking in the mirror, you're saying affirmations, but they used it to manipulate, you are reflecting whatever, like you said, like, let's say they pair you with a twin flame and you're like, you know what? I just don't really feel like attracted to them. They're like, well, you need to go in the mirror and realize you're not attracted to yourself. So basically they say it like a religion, then they start a religion in the twin flame thing. It's a twin flame religion.
They literally start a religion.
Yes. And it's basically like Hail Marys. So if you say something like, oh, is that a Hail Mary? I think that's a Catholic thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you say something that wasn't aligned with what he's teaching you, you have to go do the mirror exercise 15 to 20 times a day.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, discernment
like
is
gaslighting your intuition.
100%.
Like this feels off. Nope. Go.
And gaslighting your discernment, like saying like it's not okay to not resonate with something. Like anything that you don't resonate with is a reflection of you being disconnected to yourself. Like anything that you're triggered by in someone else is always a reflection to yourself. And it's taking these spiritual ideas, but making them black and white, making them right and wrong. And that's the thing about literally anything we talk about, we live in this dualistic world. So it's always about balance. It's always about the polarities. And that's what brings it into health. And when something is like this or that, like only, it turns it into a toxic manipulation, even if that is something that can be used in a really helpful way.
Yeah, because it is true that if something's triggering you, it's something within yourself to look at to see
exactly
what it's being triggered, like that is
but
true
also,
and that is helpful.
And also it's true that if you're in a relationship and someone has abusive behavior towards you, that you're allowed to use your discernment and be like, that's not safe and not okay for me. And I refuse to accept it.
Exactly.
Both of those two things on opposite ends of the spectrum exist. So it's not about one side or the other. Like everything that someone else does, like that's on them and you can just distance yourself from them. And it's also not the other side of that. Everything someone else does is you being triggered within. It's both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we start a religion?
Honestly, yes.
So crazy.
Herbert Academy.
Oh
Herbert
my gosh.
Academy.
That would be really sweet. I think we should actually do that.
Yeah, because honestly,
Academy.
Herbert's afterlife is pretty fucking dope. Like
I
he's
know.
living it up at your house. And I'm
I
like,
love him.
hashtag goals. I could do that.
Okay, so the thing that I wanted to talk about is something that I was exploring a few years back. And then recently it's just been coming back up for me. And I think that one of the reasons I've been thinking about it, I've been thinking a lot about starseeds, being a starseed. I've been thinking a lot about ancient lands and the ancient land frequencies and the way that they're coming back in. And I was thinking about during this holiday season, like everyone pretty much who listens to one of our podcasts and is in our community can probably resonate with this. When you're in your, dealing with your family or whoever it is that you're celebrating the holidays with, sometimes you feel like the alien in the room, or sometimes you feel like you have to like dull down your spirituality to vibe with people. And it can feel like, why am I so different? Why am I on this whole different thing where I want to have all of these conversations? And one of the things I've been thinking about is this ancient land energy that's within us. So I actually want to read this quiz that's from a book that I love by Lucy Cavendish. And I want you guys to take the quiz with me, and everyone listening along, I want you to take this quiz too with us and just mark if you answer mostly A's, B's, or C's. And for you, Steffi and Shayna, I'm going to mark it for you.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Like, where's the pen?
The first question, I'll start with you, Steffi. The first question, if you could work with one of these sacred tools, which one would you choose? A drum, a wand, or a chalice?
Wand.
Wand. Easy. Okay, Shayna.
Yeah,
drum,
same.
wand, or chalice?
Wand.
Okay, great. So
what
everyone,
are you gonna do with a fucking chalice?
So everyone at home, a drum is A, the wand is B, and then the chalice is C. So it'll always be in order like that. So just write down, like take a tally of if you answers A, B's, or C's. Okay, the second question. Choosing from the three below, which time of day appeals to you most? Is it A, dawn, B, sunset, or C, midnight?
Go ahead, Shayna.
I would say dawn, even though I'm never up for that. I just love that time of day.
Same.
It just appeals to you most. Okay,
Yeah.
you guys are
Same.
on the same.
But I also was
so
born
far.
at actual sunrise, like dawn. And that's why I'm a Cancer sun and a Cancer rising. If you're the same rising sign as your sun, it's because you were born literally at dawn.
Ooh,
I'm always attracted to it. And it's also like what time I wake up, like naturally. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm
I only get a
interesting.
few dawns in my life, so they feel like magic.
Projector.
Yeah, I'm like,
but it's
almost
still the
at my
one you're
quota.
most drawn to when you're
Yes.
sleeping. That's probably because when you're sleeping, you're at your happiest peak, and that's at dawn.
Yeah, and maybe once I have kids, like I'll see a lot more dawns.
Okay,
There
I
you
love
go.
it. Okay,
bright
third
side.
question. There's only 10 questions. Okay, so third question. Which one do you feel the most drawn to wearing? A, natural fibers like hemp or skins like leather. B, pure white clothing that doesn't accentuate your gender, so like white flowy. Or C, flowing gowns or robes in rich colors. So the first one is like earthy stuff. The second one is like white flowing. And then the third one is rich colors and like robes.
Rich colors?
It's so different. Robe and
Like,
a rich
can
color.
black be
so
a rich
different.
color? Because it's like
Yeah,
saturated in black.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so for me, C. Just because
Shayna,
robes
we're
was
gonna
in
have
there.
the same answers, aren't we?
No, I kind of like that you guys are getting the same answers. It's interesting to me.
Well, I
Oh.
like color. Obviously, I'm wearing a purple wig right now. I love rich saturated
So
colors.
rich colors, then that would
Yeah.
be C. Because for me, I would definitely choose white, pure, flowing clothes.
I mean,
Like,
I could choose like I don't want things that accentuate my body though either. Like I want like flowy flow.
uh-huh.
I don't mind
I'm
like
kind
a
of sad
Yeah,
that
that
you're
would
not
be-
giving your answers though,
That would be
Dana.
more B. Oh, I can start giving them as we go.
Yeah, like
let's.
drum, chalice, wand.
Oh, I kind of
Drum.
would choose
Yeah,
drum.
I figured drum for you.
Okay.
Okay,
And then from
sunset.
dawn, sunset, and midnight, sunset for show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It
And
really
then
is your personality. Like when you both
Yeah.
answer,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's you.
I know. So it's like really interesting why
Mhm.
we're getting these answers, which we'll get into at the end. But and then for me, the thing that I feel most drawn to wear would be like white, flowy, like pure white goddess clothes, but that don't accentuate my body.
Gotcha. Okay. And then
The first
okay,
one
Steffi
was
and I are both
leather. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
so
go
like the first one's like
Natural.
earthy, like hemp and like leather, like think like earthy colors, like Tarzan loincloth
Ugh,
vibes.
like natural. Yeah,
Like,
no,
I-
we're the robe rich. We're
yeah,
the rich
I tried to
robe
wear leather
bitches.
jeans in Vegas last year and I got chub rubbed so bad.
Yeah, I'd honestly rather be lit aflame than wear leather
It's like
pants.
sweaty thighs. Yeah. So anyway.
Okay, I love that for you. I'm sorry that happened. Moving on, the land that you would like to visit most: A, Hawaii; B, Greece; or C, the British Isles.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Greece. I love Hawaii,
Okay.
but I'm gonna say Greece. Or you said
Okay.
land. I was gonna say Disneyland. I'm joking. That's triggering for sure.
Okay, Greece.
I was gonna say
Steffi.
Greece as well, Steffi.
Okay, so Greece for Shayna, mine is faux show Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. You feel like your soul is most influenced by A, your body; B, your thoughts; or C, your emotions. So which one influences us most? Body, thought, or emotions?
Emotions. You already knew that though.
Okay,
For
so Stephanie's
sure.
a C.
I mean,
I'm
thoughts.
thoughts.
Well, the thing is like my thoughts are definitely ruling the show, but I'd like to think my emotions push me forward. My
Yeah.
thoughts hold me back. Not to be too cerebral.
Oh, interesting. I would say emotions too. I mean, Steffi and I are both emotional authorities, so we're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I would say my thoughts actually.
Okay. All right. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, if you could curl up on the couch and watch one of the below, which movie would you choose? A movie like Clan of the Cave Bear, like a documentary on ancient tribes and people, so ancient vibes. B, a film like Star Wars or Star Trek, like sci-fi fantasy. C, a mini series on the Mist of Avalon or Merlin, so think like Outlander vibes.
Okay, B for sure for me.
Duh, that's
Star
Shayna.
Wars.
That's your
sci-fi.
defining characteristic about you.
You don't
I
got
know,
like a good
honestly.
Adam Sandler choice or like a Nancy Myers film, like The Holiday or something.
I guess that would be the closest to C. Like think like Outlander, like romance.
Yeah.
I would say C for me.
Okay. I would choose A, of like ancient tribes and peoples.
Oh,
Wow.
we got a good
Damn.
spread here.
Lit
yeah.
the
Like I
room.
love movies that take place like Aboriginal movies. I love that. Okay. 7. The beings I am most drawn to are A, plants, birds, and whales; B, crystals, dolphins, and dugongs, which is a manatee. These are so random, I know.
They better not just say manatees.
Okay. And then C,
No, they said dugong.
dugong is a manatee. And then
Oh.
C, horses, cattle, and trees. So I know that was a lot. A is plants, birds, and whales. B, crystals, dolphins, manatees. C, horses, cattle, and trees. Which one are you most drawn to?
I think it's C for me.
Interesting.
I know. I love. Well, the thing is like I love plants and crystals and dolphins, and I love everything.
We all
water
love all
related.
of them.
But
Yeah.
my entire life, I've always been drawn spiritually to horses.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very
Steffi.
much so. And then I found out recently in my Vedic astrology, my chart, she called me the white horse. And I always was drawn to a white horse. I went to horse camp and stuff. So, yeah.
Wow, that gave me goosebumps.
And I always
on
give
my
trees
legs.
hugs. So I think, yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. Like I obviously love trees and love horses too, and cows actually. But I think I'm going to have to go with crystals, dolphins, and manatees
Of
for
course,
me.
Dana.
B. But I also
Yeah.
love whales and birds. Like, love me some whales and some birds.
Well, and
we all know.
the whale mixed into the first category
I
throws me
know.
off a little.
So like the difference between whales and dolphins is the difference between A and B here. That's a
This is a tough
specificity. It's a tough one.
Gosh, I think, oh man, I love me some birds,
You do.
but I'm drawn more to crystals, dolphins, and manatees. Like I could be a dolphin.
Okay.
Oh, next life.
Okay.
That
That one was
shocked
really
me.
hard because all of those beings are amazing, like incredible. I'm curious for everyone at
They're
home
all right.
too, what they're
Just
going to
kidding.
get. What everyone at home is going to get. Okay. Number 8. The being I am most drawn to is A, mermaids and shapeshifters, B, angels or ascended masters, and C, unicorn, dragon, griffin. So A is mermaid vibes, B, ascended master vibes, and C, like mythical animals.
For me,
D,
it's
all of the above.
Oh, the man gen finding an alternate route.
Yeah, man gen. I want a shortcut.
I would say for me, C.
Oh, plot twist, Shayna.
I know I'm really into like fantasy, mystical, like dragons. I'm into dragons.
I'm shocked that you said that, but I love it.
Yeah, I'm
That's
tough.
like. So
I'm
I'm
into that.
dragon in my Chinese astrology zodiac. So I've always connected to dragon, but I have to say mermaid. I feel like a mermaid in my soul. And
Mermaid,
also the
I
purple
feel
hair.
that for you. For me, I say ascended master and angels.
Angels, I just don't feel that connect. Like, I mean, obviously I connect with angels and ascended masters, but I'm like, I want to be a dragon, you know?
I feel so connected to my ascended masters, like my spirit team for the last like 5 years of my life, that I have to say that because it's like I'm in constant connection with them.
No, I know, me too. That's why it's really tough.
Yeah, it's tough because like D, all of the above kind of secretly is an answer, but I'm forcing you to choose one that is most resonant at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
C.
Okay.
A, B, and C.
for
Look at
me.
our spread once again.
Steffi, you're sticking with mermaid, A
It's
vibes.
so tough. Well, I don't want my spirit guides to do me dirty and not give me some angel numbers.
Well,
if I betray
they
them.
will.
They love and understand this quiz.
That I'm a mermaid. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
A is my final answer.
And you have mermaid hair today.
I
so
know.
that's
I was
probably really
channeling mermaid.
swaying. Yeah, totally.
And I was a mermaid for Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Number 9, you connect most strongly to A, my ancestors, B, high priestess or priest vibes, C, goddess druid energy.
B. Final answer.
B. All right, Shayna.
I think C.
C, goddess. Okay, I'm going to go with C as well. Okay, and the last question, the environment I would most like to experience would be A, wild, untamed jungle, B, high mountains with temples, and C, green countryside with stone circles and sacred wells.
Oh my God, B for sure. I'm mountains environment. And that,
you are.
Honestly, I want to be there right now.
Can you
like
repeat?
just hearing it?
Could you repeat
totally.
please?
So A is wild, untamed jungle. So jungle, tropical, like wild vibes. B is high mountains with temples. I like to think of that as like the elves in Lord of the Rings for B. And then C, rich countryside, stone circles, sacred wells, like Outlander vibes.
Oh, gosh. I think I'm going to have to go with C.
Okay.
Just because of the wells.
And what's yours, Dana?
I do like a mountaintop though.
Ooh, this one's actually tough for me because I want to say A, but I think actually B calls me more the temples. Like I love temples so much versus just like the wild jungle. Like it's kind of scary, like the animals and stuff.
Yeah, I thought you were going to choose wild jungle.
Well, I've been in the wild jungle and it's like, I feel like a little shrimp nugget. I don't feel like this is my home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, I love mountaintops and stuff, but I'm weak. Like I get altitude sickness and shit.
Same.
Like I suffer. So
same, but for me, the temples and the view and it being like, I think
totally the temples, but like wells are, I mean, I could go on all day about wells.
that's true.
What if
Like
you've never
sacred
been to a magical
water.
land? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that
You
was a
sounded like
really,
Owen Wilson then. Yeah.
wait, me or Steffi?
Me.
Steffi.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I feel like my
Okay.
answer is going to tell me I'm supposed to like live on a ranch and herd cattle and shit.
Okay. So is everyone ready to hear what this test we all took is for?
Yes.
So this is a quiz that tells you which of these 3 ancient lands your soul is connected to the most. So all of the A answers were Lemurian. All of the B answers were Atlantis. And all of the C answers were Avalon, which is like Celtic, Druids, the Stonehenge, witches kind of energy. So Shayna got by far the most Atlantis energy in all of hers. And Steffi got the most Avalon energy. And I got the most actually Atlantis, but it was a close to Lemuria. But actually, I got the most Atlantis too. So, with these 3 ancient lands, and this book that I'm reading from, I really recommend it if this connects with you. Once again, it's by Lucy Cavendish. It's called The Lost Lands. And with these 3 ancient lands, Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon, I mean, there's so many ways to think about them, but one of the ways I like to think about it is just like a frequency kind of energy. You know, maybe it's that your soul has incarnated in these ancient times where these lands were actually real physical places on earth, or maybe they existed on some other dimension, maybe not like this 3D dimension, but your soul has spent time in that frequency. And it's really interesting to think about like which one of these energies is most familiar with you, feels like home. And in this book, she goes into more detail about what that might mean that you want to lean into in your life, or like the sacred tools that you're drawn to, the ways that you're wanting to help the world, but also like fears or, you know, weaknesses that you might feel in this modern civilization. But the reason that I felt called to talk about this is because I feel like all of our souls that are on this wave, like people that listen to our podcast, people that are in our communities, have a lot of this ancient wisdom that we're bringing back in this modern time. And so for everyone that just took that quiz with us, seeing which one you have the most energy with, if you have more Lemurian energy, you're really being called to bring back earthy shamanic practices, working with the land, working with your ancestors, things like drumming that really gets you into that root chakra kind of energy, things like communal living and agriculture and growing your own food. If that Lemurian energy is really resonating with you, you're here to lean into that stuff in this time. And of course, I think we can all resonate with all 3. It's just like which one's calling you right now. And I think also at different times, these different frequencies can call you in more ways. And that might indicate how your soul is wanting to bring back these ancient wisdoms or these ancient techniques or frequencies to the earth now. And if you got a lot of Atlantis energy, like Shayna and I did, this is more like critical mind thinking, more scientific, but still really wanting to work with energy and crystals and power resources that come from the earth, like our energetic realm, instead of so much in the body and in the root chakra. This is more like a mental kind of thing of really wanting to work with telepathic communication and the power of our mind, wanting to work with sacred geometry and like earth sciences, things like that, which both Shane and I are super connected and drawn to sacred geometry. So that's more like Atlantis vibes, what your soul is sort of wanting you to guide to start, you know, thinking about or bringing into the new world. And then if you got a lot of Avalon energy, I love it so much because this is more of like the witch energy, the druid energy, the goddess energy, that like Celtic kind of wisdom. And this is all about sensual practices, sexual practices, the goddess energy, the divine feminine, working with spells, working with herbs, really working with your moon cycle. And, you know, so all of these things can be connected to nature. Lemuria is super connected to nature. Atlantis is really connected to water. And that's where like the mermaid and the dolphin and the dugong all comes from Atlantis. But Avalon's also so connected to water with like the sacred wells and the earth water and streams and drinking living water and allowing that to be something that heals us, or even programming your water, I would say is way more Avalon vibes. So yeah. I'm curious to hear, how does it feel for you to take that quiz and then to hear the results?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely resonates. I've always felt like I'm in Atlantis right now on an alternate timeline because time is not linear.
Mhm.
And I always feel like with everything in our society, like there's a better, more advanced way to be doing this, like an alternate technology. Like I want to expand outside of what's possible in our, current timeline that we're all in of how we use science and math and all the things. Like that's why I'm so into sci-fi and I'm into like mythical creatures, even because it expands what's possible for an animal or for what we've accepted as the normal way of doing things or building things or creating things. I like to think like there's this expansive way that maybe involves like energy or a different kind of science that doesn't exist yet, which we're exploring with like, looking at ancient sites and history of like maybe they moved things with sound and vibration and really looking at that. That's all so fascinating to me. But I always think like there's a better, more advanced way than taking a fucking elevator, like driving in a car, like picking up your phone and calling someone. Like there's
We gotta
energy
do
we
faster.
could tap into. Yeah, it's too slow for me. And that's definitely Atlantis vibes for sure.
Yeah, it's all about that technology, but like still earth magic technology, like using the crystal grid, using sacred geometry, using sound, using magnetism, using atomic energy, things like that. Although the dragon and the griffin and the animals that were Avalon animals.
I know they're Avalon, but I like them because of more of an Atlantis way of thinking. Like I like them because they're expanding
what's possible. Gotcha.
Exactly. They're an alternate to our current reality versus like, I like them because they're earthy and like spells and all that. Like I like them because they're, I like them because they're different.
That was spot on for me. It resonated a ton. I've been so intentional recently about like what I'm nourishing my body with. And I even Reiki my food or my water sometimes if I want to get more nourishment. And obviously we all know like I'm a witch in many lifetimes. So that was like super resonant. And also thank you for preparing that quiz. I know like that was really special and exciting.
I think it's so fascinating because I think all of us resonate with all three, right? Like I resonate with all three as well. So it's kind of cool to hear the quiz to just in an unbiased way, hear which one's calling you most at this time, like which frequency is calling you most and what those tools, like ancient tools might be that you're here to weave into what you're doing. And
it's like alignment to your soul and your purpose. Like every time I take a quiz, it's like, what pizza am I? It's like a BuzzFeed quiz or some shit.
Like I just got so much meaning out of that pizza quiz. Oh my gosh.
No, I can find meaning in like literally anything. I am a cheese pizza because like
you don't take me as a cheese pizza, like at least soul level wise, but that'll be next spiritual sleepover edition 4.
You are so not a cheese pizza.
Okay, that was
you're kind of Hawaiian vibes.
Yeah.
Little pineapple.
Oh my God.
Okay. Thank you so much. I loved that.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so my topic, it's like taking a turn, but it's also like super simple, I guess. The thing that I've just been observing, I saw this thing the other day that my husband sent me, which was like so hot that he sent this to me. But he sent this like post that said, some people were not created or put on this earth to change, like to evolve. And they are here to show you what that looks like if you don't. And because their soul didn't choose to evolve in this life, or they're have their, head down and they're not inquisitive or trying to better themselves or evolve in some way. And that not everyone is here in this lifetime that to evolve. And it's an opportunity for them to be showing you what it looks like if you don't. And that really struck me because I think maybe as a projector, I'm constantly wanting to give advice. I'm constantly wanting to help people and guide people and wanting them to grow and evolve. And then there's that fine line of waiting for the invitation because you're not invited. And then there's also the fine line, especially within my family, of having boundaries of like, it's not my job to help this person evolve because it's detrimental to my health and my emotional, mental, physical, spiritual health. Like I need boundaries, I need separation, and it's not my job to help people change and evolve. And just hearing it so simple like that made it so much easier to kind of just like, oh, okay. Like they have more lifetimes where they're going to come back with a completely different mission or karma or lessons. And in this lifetime right now, it's not my job to be the lesson giver or the advice person in every single person's life that I know, especially my personal relationships. And it's so interesting because he sent me that. I kind of had reached out to my mom like a week or two ago, and I haven't had any contact with her for a few years, but we're planning this family thing in December for my aunt's 70th birthday. And this is the first time my family's gathering together since my dad died and my grandma died. So it's going to be interesting. And when you mentioned the transits, it's going to be when Mercury's retrograde, which is so interesting. But because I was texting like, okay, we're going to try to go to that sphere in Vegas and see, it's like alternate technology. I'm like so excited to see this sphere. So I planned it for everyone. I booked it, and then, just arranging all the details, but I didn't want to be like mean girl energy and like not, tell my mom and all the things. So I texted her and I reached out just a tiny little bit, and that inch, like she then sent a whole massive email, like insane. And it was a feeling of like, here we are again, but also like, I don't know why I thought time maybe had gone and she had grown, and like, like, why was I expecting, like, it's always the same thing kind of thing, just going over in my head of like, oh, okay, there hasn't been any growth. And then the next day, Brian sent me that thing. And it just like was so helpful because especially going in this time, I think right now where people are around family that maybe isn't the easiest to be around, or they're getting triggered by things that maybe they thought they were over, but then they're not, like being reminded, like, not everyone is here to evolve, even if they're your mom or, a really close loved one that should be helping you evolve in this lifetime. Like maybe they're not. And that wasn't the contract that you guys signed when you came into this life. And that's okay. That literally she's showing me what it looks like if you don't. And it's just a reminder that I can use to propel me forward versus something that like keeps me back or keeps me like stuck in the victimhood or the story or the like it's not fair or whatever. Like it's just this reminder of like the people in your life that maybe feel triggering or hard for you can be a signpost of like keep evolving, like keep growing, even if they aren't, even if the relationship isn't mended and evolving and growing, like you still can evolve and grow. And I think that message is really needed at this time as we go into the holidays. So totally different turn, a little bit darker than where we were. But yeah, I mean, how does that resonate? I know that, we all have difficult relationships in our life right now, but how does that resonate hearing that? Like, it's not your job. I mean, as a projector, it feels like, oh, thank God. But I'm curious, Steffi, as a man-gen, like if that also you feel like responsible for other people's evolution in like more of a caregiving way versus like I want to give you advice way, or if you don't feel responsible for people's evolution, I'm curious how you feel.
I mean, absolutely. I think just as a people pleaser and all the water in my chart, I always care about people's feelings and disregard my own. And that's been a huge issue. I've been no contact with my family for 5 years. And it's this weird grappling of, are they going to ever take accountability? Are they going to evolve? Or do I have to accept that this is the way it's going to be? Just like kind of you came to that conclusion, like, okay, there's nothing I can say. It's interesting too to see even how friendships evolve. There are times of your life where you really are so close to someone and you're in the same wavelength. And then it's like a quick little frequency change. And then you feel like, wait, I want to be here with you and I want to take you up with me, but I don't know if this is going to fulfill me anymore or fulfill you. And I have been having, my family stuff, I've really come to a good place and I feel a lot of peace in my heart, even though it's very difficult to be estranged and make that conscious choice. During the holidays, I always thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so lonely. And it's so funny. I actually am the opposite. I'm so much more calm. My nervous system is, aligned. And so those decisions were right for me and based off of my family. And it's hard to say, oh, I'm evolved and you're not. Like, I'm not placing judgment on them. I just know that I am in a place where I like to take accountability for my mistakes and I just want the same. So anyway, I'm in a situation now where I feel a couple friendships, where I've placed a boundary and it hasn't been received. And so I want to help evolve and to grow our friendship but it's just not happening. So I'm kind of in this acceptance state of, is this going to come around, or do I have to just stand on the sidelines? So it's difficult. I think, everyone has free will as a human. We all come in with goals and with a karmic plan. And sometimes, we get stubborn or we get conditioned. Things like that will happen. So I think it's just really important to focus on how you can take, like I said, accountability, acceptance in your heart, where you can find peace and where you can continue to evolve and be open with your heart and really talk to people about that. And if they accept you, great. And if they don't, you're going to continue to evolve and grow as much as you can. Oh, that's how how I feel.
Accountability is so huge. That word accountability and cleaning up your side of the street, like with any boundary that you place, and then knowing like, okay, they might not ever evolve. And that's okay. It can be heartbreaking, especially if it's a friend. And this like Libra eclipse energy that's going to be impacting us all for 6 months. I think that's coming up a lot right now. Like you said, with friendships that you're just maybe outgrowing or shifting, and it's like not your job to pull them along or force them up the same hill as you. They have their own hill to climb, and you don't have to be on it with them.
Yeah, it's so true. And I feel like for me, it's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from being a projector. Like specifically, this lesson hit me like a ton of bricks when I was in college, actually. And I didn't know I was a projector at that time. But when my close friends would be dating someone and I was like, this person is dangerous, I cannot just sit by and allow my friend to date this person and not say anything. Because I was like, if you love someone, you protect them. And I also have so much Leo placement in my chart. I feel like I'm such a protective person when someone is who I love. And I'm also a projector. So I'm wanting to guide them and fix them and genuinely make things good for them. And I thought that all of that was love, right? Because it was coming from a place of like me saying, like, this is because I love this person, and realizing how much people didn't want that from me and how repelling it was, and how much people were like, back off, bitch. Like, this is my life. I'll do whatever I want. Don't give me advice if I didn't ask you. Like, I didn't know then that those dynamics were more increased or more intense because I was a projector, but I got the lesson. I was like, oh, you don't love people by trying to change them or live their life for them. You love people by letting them be who they are, live their own path, and make their own mistakes. And that has to be the baseline, like, of how you let people just be who they are and be on their path. Now, that's hard to do because some people, when you just love them and let them be, they are a person that you feel like, okay, this is someone who I can have as a friend. It feels aligned for me to just let them be who they are, and then we can still be close. Other people, when you just let them be who they are, it reveals the fact that this is not someone you can have in your life if they're going to be who they are. And walk their path in the way that they're walking. So it's like, to really give that kind of unconditional love and acceptance, you have to be okay with the repercussions, which is sometimes losing a relationship with them, being less close, needing more boundaries. And boundaries and unconditional love go hand in hand. And that was a lesson that I really had to learn in this life. Like, if I'm going to truly love someone unconditionally, I'm going to need this many boundaries between me and this person in these different realms. And for some people, that might be so many boundaries that you don't have a relationship with them. And that's the only way that you can have that form of like soul spiritual love for them, is by not being in contact with them at all. So I'm really proud of our generation, of the millennials, and of you two, like witnessing your wisdom here, because changing the way that we look at the family dynamic is something that happens through brave and bold action and honest conversations. It's not easy to do that because all of us as millennials were programmed to believe like, respect your elders no matter what they do, no matter what they say, even if their behavior is abusive, right? Like, we were just taught that your family is your family. There's nothing you can do about it. And I've gotten to witness you two really leading the way through your own path, through standing up for yourself and through changing everyone around you's perspective about what a healthy family is and what true love looks like and what self-love looks like within your family unit. So I'm really proud of millennials in general, also you two beautiful goddesses, for leading the way and sharing your perspectives, because I know it's really vulnerable and it's easier to not talk about it, especially in a public way. But I think it's really liberating for people to hear that, like, there's no right or wrong. There's no one size fits all. It's all about what is true and real for you internally, but also letting people, knowing that people are who they are and that not everyone is here to evolve, like going back to the original statement Shayna shared.
Yeah. And that you don't have to keep a relationship just because they're your mother or they're
biological. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's messaging that I heard a lot, like, but they're your mother. They gave birth to you. They loved you at one point. Like that messaging is like, so it's like, yeah, it's true. And so there can be a lot of guilt when it comes to placing boundaries with family members. Cause it's like, yeah, they're your sister, or yeah, but they're your aunt, like your grandparents. Like there's so much conditioning around like, don't have boundaries with family as far as like limiting access to them, because if you love your family, the same messaging like you were just saying, then you try to help them, you try to help them grow, you try to share yourself with them, and maybe they'll change. And like I think that we all collectively have like learned like, don't, if you're dating someone or married to someone, like you can't like, try to change them, and so like, like them before who they are normally. I think we all kind of understand that message for the most part collectively, but the messaging with your family of like, you don't have to have access to your family if they are, if it's not mendable, if it's not something that's going to be healthy and or going to change. It's just a long journey. So I know that many people listening, they have a similar journey. And it is constantly being faced with people telling you like, you're being too sensitive or too judgmental, or, they are your parents, you should do it anyways. And I just want to encourage you to know that not everyone is here to evolve, but you are. It's literally why you're listening to this podcast. You want to evolve. Your soul wants to evolve. And that's the journey. It's a personal journey, no matter who you're with in your life. It's internal. And it's like I said before, like everything that you need is inside of you, and it doesn't rely on who your parents were, what your circumstances are. You can create those boundaries, be accountable, be kind, but do what you need, what's right for you. Listen to your authority, your body.
And I think the biggest takeaway for that too is just never feel guilty. I heard that word and I love that. It's like never feel guilty for prioritizing your own mental health.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing, because people will say things to you to make you feel, they are your family, this and that. And at the end of the day, it's like, I've tried and I've done everything I could do. Now, like you said, clean up your side of the street. Now I need to heal and do what I need to do for me. And then unfortunately, that doesn't involve a path that walks along my family anymore. But anyway, just always take care of yourself. Yay.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So that was my current event.
Let's
really
do
in the news these days.
Round of a game. Are you ladies up for it still?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So changing the frequency. All right. So I just before we popped out, I was like, should we just do a would you rather? Because we all went to Joshua Tree a few weeks ago. We had just like a beautiful weekend together, and we were in the hot tub and we were playing would you rather, and we were just cackling. It was the funniest thing ever. And then even so like good. Shayna the next day, we're like all, moving on to our days and like, on the way home. And Shayna's like, would you rather, like in a group chat, like kept it roll. You're like, let's keep the good vibes going.
Brian couldn't stop. I love when Brian Sagerl was engaged with that game for days.
So I thought we should do a spiritual one. So I'm going to start off tame. I just wrote a few down. Okay. Would you rather have Mercury be retrograde for 6 months, or have a ghost whisper your name once a month at random times?
To you.
Oh.
So
what's the vibe of the ghost? What's the vibe of the ghost? Like,
is it like it's only a high pitched hi Dana, hi Shayna at random times? You could be eating, you could be post-coital, you could be on the pot.
Post-coital? I don't know.
Wait, does that mean after
grandma
sex,
terms,
right?
You always do that.
Wow. Yes. Who even made that phrase? After whoopee. Post-coital? Gross. That name.
Coital sounds wrong.
I would choose the ghost saying my name.
Okay. At random times. And it could even be up to 20 times a day.
I would choose the ghost.
Oh, geez.
I'm adding qualifiers as the games keep going.
Mercury's retrograde in my birth chart. So it feels pretty good when Mercury's retrograde for me. I mean, not always. Sometimes I've had some rough ones, but I think I would choose 6 months out of every year though. I feel bad
Yeah.
for the collective. I'll take one for the team. Just for the collective. So I'll do the ghost. Yeah.
Okay.
What would you choose?
Me? I mean, ghost for me is completely normal. So I'd probably choose, ghost. Ghost. Even though
Yeah.
retrograde, we have the tools, we can work with retrograde energy. It's not necessarily all negative, but yeah, it's a little like anxiety provoking at times. So yeah. But I mean, the ghost would also be too, especially if it was like,
Totally.
yeah.
Like
Okay,
you're
cool.
doing a reading for a client and you just constantly hear your name being called, like distracting.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Okay. Would you rather have, okay, so this is your husband's, okay, your life partners. Would you rather have your partner scream, cry, and shake, "I am the light," every time they came, or someone, someone, your life partner only wants to be intimate with you on Scorpio moons at midnight and you have to do a blood exchanging ceremony? But it's like,
Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
huge every time, but you could only have intimacy during the Scorpio moon period at midnight. And then throughout the month, like you really can't be intimate at all.
Steffi, that's the most data shock freaking thing you've ever said. Like, I was not expecting either of those. At every point in the sentence, I was shocked by each new word. Right? That was shocking.
Yes. I'm dying. I am
Why
the
did it-
light. I am
Yeah,
the
I'm the
light.
light all day.
Like honestly, I kind of
would
want
like
that to happen now, just
Me
because it's so
too.
like, yes, claim it.
Okay,
Like,
hold on.
You
No, no.
are
and
the
also
light.
like
You
it's
are the light.
confident. Like
It
you
was too easy. Let
are.
me change it. Okay, how about he says, "I am," oh my gosh. Okay. "I am your creator," every time they
Like I am your god.
and it's paired with excessive shaking and screaming at the top of the lungs.
Okay,
I am your
the
creator.
Scorpio moon blood
Wait,
exchange,
how
which
often
honestly
does
I
that
could be down
happen?
for.
How often? Is there a
Anytime that you are
Scorpio moon?
intimate.
Anytime.
Oh,
they
how often is
orgasm.
there
Oh,
Scorpio
but it happens once a
moon?
month. Happens
The
once a month.
Scorpio has to do whenever there's a Scorpio moon. So
Okay.
that happens,
I would
twice a month usually, or
I
one.
would
Yeah.
I would choose the latter.
The Scorpio moon.
Yeah.
The
And
blood
the
But
blood
exchange.
also like
exchange.
that might change their personality though, because then they're constantly tracking the moon and like, oh, it's Scorpio moon tonight, like a lot of pressure. And also like, how are we going to do the blood? Is it going to be painful or like, am
I
I on
think
my period? Like,
the
I feel
blood
like there's
exchange would
a
be
lot,
kind of a
like,
scary lead up. Like
yeah, like they
it's
might not
coming.
be who they are
Yeah.
anymore.
It's a ritualistic thing. Like it's always has
Right,
to be done a
right.
certain way. It's not just like a
Right.
fun, like your partner has a certain way they like to do it.
I don't know. That kind of sounds fun to me though. I'm down for the Scorpio moon.
Me too. And either way, I like the passion. Like I like the commitment to just
because you're Scorpio.
yeah, I like the passion. Like, okay, but like you're not my God. But I guess like we're all God. So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely Scorpio moon blood exchange.
What would you choose,
Sign me
Steffi?
up.
Probably I am the light, or I am your creator. I'm your creator.
The shaking,
screaming.
if
Yeah.
if
Oh, it
they
would be
did
kinda
it confidently, like I am your creator, like sexy, I'd be like, okay. But if they're like shaking and screaming, turn off.
Yeah,
Like
it would be,
you know,
it would be really
The
ick. Yeah, I changed my mind to Scorpio moon. Yeah. I would just like get freaky with it and like really dive into the witchy part. Yeah, I think I would like that. Do either of you have any you can think of at the top of your head?
I was just watching To All the Boys I've Ever Loved Before, which is like the cutest rom-com movie ever. And they were in the movie. This is not spiritual. They said, would you rather only be able to drink water for the rest of your life, or you can drink any drink, but it has to have one drop of pee in it?
Oh gosh.
And in that
Water.
and I kind of felt torn actually. And they both chose any drink with a drop of pee in it, but I think I would choose water.
Yeah, water. I mean, water's just so good.
Yeah, I only really drink water. I mean, like, I'm not a big
no coffee. I would be sad.
I'm like
and
strictly water or espresso martinis. Like there's no in between.
no, there really is no in between for you. That's true.
an espresso martini with one drop of pee in it would not
You
be
wouldn't
that
be
bad
able to.
though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And what if the pee like filters your kidneys or does something magical? I don't know. Now I'm kind of on
Who's pee?
I mean, I don't know.
That's an important
Maybe
question.
Okay,
is
wait.
true.
I
Whose
have a
pee is it?
spiritual one that just came
Okay,
to
great.
me. Would you rather have this lifetime be your last lifetime on Earth, and then next you get to like go incarnate in other realms, angel realms, wherever you want? Or would you rather come back one more time and get to be the wisest tree on planet Earth for a lifetime?
For like 2,000 years?
With your consciousness now, where you can know all of the things that the like highest realm of
tree?
earth wisdom. Yeah, but time is not linear.
So 2,000 years could feel like an hour?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like
Um,
trees have seen some stuff. Like, I feel like I'd be like, these assholes.
Oh, you'd be like disappointed, like
Even
your
if I was
emotional wave
wise,
would
yeah,
crash.
especially if I'm
Yeah.
extra wise. Like, I'd be like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? I would be pissed. Well, I'm of an Aries moon now,
Like,
so
get
I
your
get annoyed by
priorities
everything.
straight, Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I would definitely like I choose that hands down as this is my last time on Earth. Like I'm ready to be on another dimension, realm, planet already. Yeah.
Okay.
What was that
so
thing that
that's
you
the
sent,
answer.
Steffi, that was like you when your soul finds out you're reincarnating on Earth again, and it's like every time I'm here, I get abused.
yes, literally.
So
I know,
like
it's so true.
I like the meme that's the show Maury, where he would like give biological birth testing, and like the results are you are the father. There was one that was like, you said that your soul did not choose to incarnate in this time. The results are in, and that is a lie. And like that's me
So true.
sometimes, because I'm like, I didn't choose this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I
Yeah,
really
you
did.
I did.
We
I
chose
did.
it.
Okay, here's one in that same vein. Would you choose to have this be your last lifetime and then you just like are back into the eternal light, right? Like you're not going into other lifetimes, like you're just back in the source energy, right? Or would you choose to come back 3 more times, but you're a rich billionaire who gets to really make change on this planet?
Oh,
But you might still get fucked up. You might still, you might not be the wisest and make good change as a billionaire, but you also very potentially could be super wise and generous and kind and make change in the world.
three.
Yeah, I was about to say
lifetimes?
three sounds exhausting.
3 lifetimes, or this be the last, you're done, whatever you ended up doing, like that's it, you're cut off.
3 sounds like a lot.
Sounds like I'm tired already hearing it.
300 years.
I'm tired right now. My soul's exhausted. I mean, yeah, 3 times.
So what would you
3
choose?
full lifetimes too? Like
As a
they're
billionaire,
full.
though. Yeah, they're full because
Right, but you don't have the knowledge. I mean, you come down with amnesia, so maybe it's your second time. Obviously, as a 3 line, I do really enjoy this.
Yeah, like you
concept.
might be an asshole billionaire, or you might be an awesome billionaire, but either way, you're a billionaire.
I probably
Or
would choose the light.
me too.
I think so too.
I would
Shayna, really? You were
too.
trying to
I'm
sell the
shocked.
billionaire one.
I was just trying to see if I
You were
could
raising your little
spice things
eyebrows
up.
at us, and you're doing a little
I was-
side. You were doing a little side eye.
Yeah, I would choose the light. But if we had
Me
this conversation
too.
at a different time where all 3 of us weren't physically tired, we might be like, give me in that tree's body, give me that billionaire mansion. But
And you know what? The light might be boring. Like that's the reason why we incarnate, is because we're trying to have growth and like evolve as a consciousness. So maybe when you're just in that, you're like bored and you're like, pull me back in the simulation. Like I want to play. You
yeah,
never know.
totally.
Like I can't imagine being bored, because that's like my dream is to be bored one day.
One day.
But who knows? That might be the case. Literally no one knows. And that's
Well,
the truth.
speaking to, the deceased for a living, I will say most everybody loves being on the other side and in the light. Like there's nothing more peaceful and amazing. And obviously when we come down to earth, it's a soul mission, but I don't know. It sounds great. Like it really sounds great. So
That's true.
Same.
yay.
That's true.
Well, this has been so fun.
Yeah, so enlightening. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, that was
amazing.
so
You're
basic.
welcome. I'm just kidding. No, this has been really fun.
It's like you're
and
trying to
we
get off the
love
phone with
this.
someone for forever. You're like, this has been great. Anyway, my laundry's, when you have to say something like fake, you're like, you know what, my dinner is on the oven. And then it's like the conversation goes on for 10 more minutes. So that was my, this is fun. Like,
Dinner's
let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
I like to
dinner's
know.
cold.
I like to know who are the people who listen that make it all the way to the very end, to the
They're
bitter
our
end.
homies.
So I know. So if
They
you're
are.
listening to the very end, I want to invite you to DM me the safe word, which is parrots, and let us know. Then we're gonna do a happy dance to know that you made it to the very end. And also, I really genuinely want to know for my quiz that I did, which ancient land frequency is speaking to you the most. So also, please, invitation here, if you want to DM us on Instagram and let us know. I'm just really curious to see what everyone's got going on in here.
Me too. I love parrots. That's a good safe word.
It's a good safe
Yeah.
word.
Parrots is
like the bird,
yeah,
obviously.
as opposed to what?
Well, it kind of sounded like Paris, like the city, but no, like parrots, the bird. I was just trying to really clarify.
Toucan.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a toucan, a parrot. But yes.
Okay, anyway, message me toucan. Bitch.
Okay, message Spirit Sis toucan, but message Dayluna parrots, and then we'll
and if you do both, you might get a treat.
Oh, if you do both, I really like that. I really like that.
And we'll reveal it next time.
And also, you can find us on Instagram, Shayna and I, at Dayluna. And our website is daylunalife.com. That's where you can find all of our offerings. During the holidays, we're doing a sale on our ritual kit boxes. You can check all of that out on our Instagram and on our website. We have a book all about human design that makes an amazing holiday gift. If someone is new to human design, I honestly think that book could be a great Christmas gift. It's affordable. It's super beautiful. It has gold foil on the front. So it's just a super cute gift. And I think it's amazing introductory into human design for someone who's interested, but maybe doesn't know a lot. But also if you have a friend who's a nerd about human design and they're ready to change their life, I think our book can be super helpful in applying your life and really seeing change. So that's called Your Human Design. You can find our book anywhere books are sold. You can go to our website, daylunalife.com, to see all of the different platforms where you can get books. And Steffi, Spirit Sis, where can people connect with you?
Just to echo, yes, you should get the book. That's such a good gift. Yay. Okay. Anyway, and I love the book and I'm proud of you both. So you can find me on Instagram, spirit_sis, or TikTok, Spirit Sis. When you follow me, you get a little surprise. Probably 10 or 15 scammers will follow you back and ask you to give a reading. It's a little special thing it's quirky. It's something that I can't control. So just want to let you know there. But I will never DM you for a reading. I also do readings like astrocartography readings and natal chart readings. And I also have courses to teach you how to do that as well. An intuition course to tap into your own source energy and make informed, aligned decisions. And my podcast is Psychic Scoop. Obviously, you're here. And this has just been an incredible conversation as always. I'm grateful for both of you. And I'm so grateful for you listening. Please DM us the code word. And until next time, love you so much. Light and love. Bye. Bye.
Bye.